Today, we're sprinkling joy into your day. Welcome to the Create a Magical Day podcast. Well, hello there. It is Joyful Jania from the Create a Magical Day podcast. And I'm so excited to have you here with me today. And I have a special guest. Ooh, this is going to be a joyful one. And we are talking about mental health today. So, I like to start off with some joy. So something bringing me joy is, this might sound a little silly, but I used to drink chlorophyll water many years ago. And oh my gosh, it provides more oxygen, so I'm more energized. And my son reminded me, and I said, oh my gosh, let me try it again. So I did, and I feel amazing. So my joy meter is whoop, all the way up because of the extra oxygen and the extra energy. Yes. Well, I cannot wait to bring our guest on today so we can get this started. Oh, she is such a dear. I connected with her on Instagram, and it was like instant magic. I feel like we're kindred spirits because we're both on this beautiful journey, and mental health really means a lot to both of us. We have different platforms, but I feel like the alignment is we all want to live a better life. So I would like to bring to you Sage, but let me tell you a little bit about her. All right, so today we have Sage from Sage the Minds. She is the founder of Sage the Minds and has created this page on Instagram to provide guidance, tips, and advice for your mental health. So beautiful. She's been through a lot and has a lot to give to this world and is also learning. One of the things everyone has in common is experience. And what's life without experience? She is creating a community where we can all relate and assist one another through this journey of life. She has a deep passion for mental health and is obtaining her master's in the fall from mental health coaching and behavioral medicine at Boston University. Yay! And she is so excited for this journey. So I would really love to welcome Sage to the podcast.
Hi.
Hi, Sage. Welcome
I'm
to
so
the Create a
excited.
Magical Day podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. This is my first time being a guest, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm really excited.
You know what? No worries. Every time I jump on camera, I'm a little nervous too.
Right. Right.
So I just want this to be a fun
Mhm.
conversation.
Mhm.
I've been following you on IG. I'm
Mhm.
so thankful that we got connected.
Yeah.
I was saying that I felt like we were like kindred spirits, meaning that
Yeah.
mental health is
Mhm.
important for both of us. And
Yes.
I feel like we're in this journey of the softness, the soft
Yes.
side.
Yes. Yes.
And then
Yes.
providing tips to people that help them along the journey. And I know I talk a lot
Exactly.
about joy, but joy is connected to mental
It
health.
is. Yes, it is. It is. It is. So yes, I think we're definitely, connected on that. And even starting my page, it's like I wasn't introduced to this side of Instagram until I started. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so positive because the other side is just like, a lot. But this side is just everyone's positive, talking about mental health and joy. And it was just like, wow, I really feel welcomed here. So I'm excited I even, created the page.
That is so awesome. Well, I
Yeah.
can't wait to dive in and talk about the page.
Yes.
Before we do that, I love to pull cards. So I'm going to
Uh-huh.
pull it from How to Love Yourself. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the
Mhm.
cards, and when you tell me to stop, I'm going to read the
Mhm.
one on top.
Okay. Stop.
Okay?
Mhm.
All right. So the one that I pulled is I am in harmony with all that surrounds me. I am at
Mhm.
peace.
I love that. That's that's actually how I feel like right now in my life. Like I
Okay.
really feel like that, and I honestly haven't felt like that in a while. So that really resonates with me.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I want to start off with
Mhm.
I asked you before you joined
Mhm.
why joy is important to you. And your
Mhm.
answer, and so then I would like you to speak to this, is
Yes.
joy is something I feel we should all try to cultivate in our lives. I
Mhm.
believe the most beautiful thing about joy is that it's accessible to us if we want it.
Mhm.
Joy brings a healthier, positive perspective to my life. Joy comes from within me, and I'm in control of it. The
Mhm.
effort of cultivating joy into my life was only introduced to me in 2023. And since then, I have intentionally made a point to fill my own life with it and take pride in that. With me
Yes.
cultivating joy, my mental health is then impacted in a positive way. So, can you tell us a little bit about
Mhm.
that joy that started in 2023 in this journey?
Yes. So I'm going to be completely honest. In 2023, I was really introduced to joy because I started my page. But before that, obviously I knew what the word joy was. But, for the past 2 years, it was a lot going on. I was grieving constantly. I felt like I was losing myself. I felt numb and things of that nature. And I, I never knew joy. Like, I can really say, like, in the past, I just never thought of joy or even cultivating it. So when I started this page, including your page, I saw the word joy everywhere. And I'm like, I know the word joy, but what is joy really to
Mm.
me? And I feel like we should all be asking that question. And joy is extremely important in my life at the moment. I think joy to me is really being content with who you are and where you are in life and where you want to go. And I can say I'm cultivating it right now. So yeah.
Yay! Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I
Yeah.
love that, and I'm so happy for you. I
Thank
love to
you.
hear when people have found whatever that little glimmer is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
helps to spark that journey, because it's not always
Exactly.
easy, and we'll talk a
It's
little bit
not.
about that
Yeah.
with some of the practices,
Yeah.
that you're going to share. So
Hmm.
one of the tips, that you wanted to share is to
Yes.
focus on 5 things that
Hmm.
go right each day. So
Hmm.
can you elaborate on the specific steps you
Hmm.
recommend, for taking note of these positive experiences and how the listeners can incorporate this practice seamlessly into their daily routines?
Yes. So, I came up with this tip because I feel like I have to do a better job of really pointing out the positive things in our lot. My life, I feel as a society, we're always dwelling, on the negatives, and, we can dwell on the positives as well. So I feel like with this tip, choosing 5 things that are the most positive throughout your day, um, you can take note of that via phone or journal, whatever you feel comfortable with. And I know that we're all busy, so maybe at the end of your day, try to really reflect on, what went well today? And I feel like with reflecting on that, you're able to relive those joyful experiences,
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just great to relive those experiences because when you start reliving them, you start to really figure out how to recreate them again. So
Ooh.
I feel like that's just very important. And I felt like being able to recognize 5 things in your day that's going well is just really important for your well-being. So,
Yeah. No, you know what? I appreciate that.
mhm.
And you spoke to something that I like really stand firm on, and
Mhm.
that is like it makes it easier, like when you
It
have that
does.
reflection,
Yeah,
create more of it, right? Because
exactly.
you're
Yeah.
reminding yourself. So to your point, if you think
Yeah.
of at the end of the day or throughout your day, these
Yes,
5
yes.
things, you're recalling the experience again. Just
Exactly.
like when we sometimes recall
Mhm.
quote bad experiences, right?
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
relive it all over again.
Yes,
So if we
yes.
recall these great experiences, we get to
Yes.
relive those.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like you're attracting that energy, if you're always
Yes.
focused on it. So yeah. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I've been thinking about that lately,
Yeah.
like with like some of the commitments that I have
Mhm.
and some of the things that I may not want to do as much,
Yeah.
and then some of the ones that I love and the ones that I kind of don't want to do as much. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, Jania, how do you change this energy some? Because you
Exactly.
want to continue to attract the goodness around this. So, what are
Exactly.
the things that I could be grateful for
Mhm.
within this? It doesn't mean
Yeah.
that everything always feels great, right?
Right.
But
No,
what
yeah.
are some of those things to reach for? So,
Yeah.
again, I'm reliving the good things and I'm reminding
Mhm.
myself.
Exactly. Yes. That's
Oh,
what it
I
is.
love that.
Yes. Thank
Yes.
you.
So I wanna add to that
Mhm.
the level up part with the win
Mhm.
list. So
Mhm.
how can that be integrated in focusing on those 5 things?
Well, I actually tried to do the win list. Well, I
Okay.
did. I didn't try. I did it actually. I did it last week just to try something new, and I really loved it because when I completed a task or something I said I was going to do, and I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, wow, I actually did a lot today.
Right.
And it just made me feel good. And then the day after, I'm recreating those same experiences to feel that same way. So I feel like they do, intertwine with each other, the win list and then choosing 5 things that went well. in your day. So I actually did try it and I loved it. And I'm still doing it right now. Each day, I'm still doing it.
Nice. And how
Yes.
does it make you feel?
It makes me feel, it makes me feel proud. And I feel
Ooh,
like I have been trying to work on for the last year celebrating myself more. So I feel that this win list is
yes.
the perfect thing if you are struggling to celebrate yourself and be proud of yourself to incorporate in your daily routine. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
glad that you spoke to
Yeah,
celebrating yourself. I feel like that's so
mhm.
important because,
It
like, in
is.
life, we always go to the next thing, which, yes, it's
Exactly.
great. We want to continue to grow.
Yes,
I
yes.
remember when it was a proud moment. I
Uh-huh.
had a little feature in the Oprah Quarterly about
Oh, that's
vision books.
amazing.
Yes,
That's
super dope.
amazing.
So
Yes.
excited. So, I was sharing it with everyone. And then
Yes.
the question followed was,
Hmm.
what's next?
Hmm.
Which there's
Right.
nothing wrong with what's next, but I
Right.
was like, I'm about to celebrate this win, being
Yes.
on being in this Oprah
Yes.
magazine.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
that's okay and that's enough in that moment.
Hmm.
And so, so to the point with the celebrating is like, I want to fully celebrate the different moments in my life. It could be small, like even when I make my bed, I
Yeah.
celebrate myself by putting music
Yeah.
on, dancing, and making my
Yeah.
favorite cup of tea. Cause I was like, go ahead, Jania, you
Yes.
made the bed,
Yes.
you know?
Right.
So okay, so let me ask you, like,
Hmm.
because you talked about the
Hmm.
importance of celebrating, why do you think that is important to people in life? Like, why should we celebrate the
Yeah.
small, the large, the all the wins in between?
Well, that's a great question. I feel like it's important to celebrate ourselves because if we don't, start that practice or habit right now, I feel that we will be looking for it in other people. And not everyone can give us, yeah,
I love
thank
that.
you. Not everyone can give us that validation. And I really had to learn that because I used to look for, validation in others. And then when no one would clap for me, I'd be like, "Ugh, I feel worthless. And I
Mhm.
really had to learn to do that for myself. And when I started to do that, I'm feeling okay. I don't need others to validate me, because I know what I bring to the table. So I just feel like celebrating yourself is just important because you don't need to look for that validation in others.
I love that. Very
Mhm.
beautiful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for that. That's a good reminder for
Yes.
us.
Yes.
So I would like to ask you, like,
Mhm.
focusing on the negative can
Mhm.
be easy, right? Because we were
Yeah.
talking about these five things or even these wins. What
Mhm.
do you think actively? Why do you think actively seeking out positive experiences throughout the day can be so
Mhm.
impactful for our overall well-being?
Well, I feel as though, seeking out those positive experiences would be, you know, super impactful in a positive way on our well-being because if you think about it, when we're always just dwelling on the negative, seeking out the negatives, I feel like that kind of creates, a lot of anxiety, stress, things of that nature. And when you're just focusing on the positives, you're feeling good about yourself. And like I said, you're creating those experiences and you're wanting to seek more of those experiences, along with just attracting more good things into your life. When you're always dwelling on the negative, you're going to attract more negativity. And who wants more negativity? I know I don't. So
Right.
I don't. I don't want any more. So, I just feel like not only is it beneficial for our, well-being, but also our mental health as well because, there's less stress on us, less anxiety. We're just more in a positive mood because we're looking for those better experiences.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And how do you feel like that, like, overall contributes to, like, our the lasting
mhm,
positive change? Because it's very easy to,
mhm.
like, have these temporary wins and
Yes,
these, I
yeah,
call them, like, behavior modifications,
uh-huh,
right? But,
yeah.
like, how do you feel like these can contribute, like, lasting overall for people?
Um, Well, I would say this is not just a one time thing. And I
Yeah.
feel like what people need to do is practice this over time because nothing is an overnight sensation. We have to keep practicing this. And I feel like if you are constantly practicing, seeking positive experiences, celebrating your wins, I feel as though it will become a habit in your life and you will become more of a joyful person. You're cultivating joy more and more as you keep practicing these tips and things of that nature.
Yeah, I like how you said it's not a one-time thing because I know
Mm-mm.
sometimes for people it's like, all right, I did it. Now my life should
Yeah.
change, you know?
No. No,
But it's
no,
like I
no,
like
no.
to compare, working on joy or our like mental well-being, like going to the
Mhm.
gym, right? You
Exactly,
don't just
yeah.
go one time and then you're like, oh, baby
No.
abs, you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, you have to go
Yeah, you
consecutively.
have to be
You have to push
consistent.
yourself, right?
Yes, yes,
And then you
yes.
finally get maybe the physique or whatever that you want.
Right.
You're healthier. So we have to
Yeah,
think about that as it relates to like our mind too, because it's a
yeah,
muscle, right? And so that
exactly,
repetition and that practice, that's what gets us stronger. And just like when you go to
exactly.
the gym, maybe you have like quote bad days where your workout
Mhm.
isn't as good.
Yes,
I think
yes,
the same thing for, our mental health journey is sometimes we're going to have
exactly,
really great days and sometimes we won't, but it's the
exactly.
continual practice.
Yes, yeah, this consistency and, you know, like your example with going to the gym, you're not doing this. I mean, it's great. I feel like we all go to the gym, we want to look cute, ready for the summer, but the gym also benefits our mental health.
Mm.
And I feel like going to the gym, it helps you just feel good about yourself. And that's what practicing these things can help you do. Just feel good about yourself. I mean, we shouldn't do this for an end result. We should just keep doing it because we're going to have to forever keep doing it. Healing is a journey. It's forever, you
Ooh,
know?
absolutely. I always say like joy, happiness, pleasure, all that, it's
Mhm.
not a place to get to and stay.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Right.
I like, where you talked about it's consistency,
Yes.
trying out even different things, but it's like,
Hmm.
what is it that helps you along this journey? Because it's truly a journey.
It
And even
is.
when we get to quote a destination,
Hmm.
there's still other parts of
There's
this
still,
journey because
yeah,
it's our entire life. Our journey ends
exactly.
when we pass, right?
Exactly. Right. Yeah,
In this
exactly.
body,
So,
like the journey
right.
ends in this
Yeah.
body, afterwards
Right.
I might come back as a butterfly or
Right. I
something,
might, yeah. Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
awesome, awesome. Well, I know you have your community, Sage the
Hmm.
Minds. Again, that's where
Hmm.
we connected.
Yes.
And you post like such, man, really great
Thank you.
tips.
Thank
Like,
you.
and the other thing that I like is not just
Hmm.
the tips, but also the like indicators, like when
Right.
you were talking about if you have burnout, if you have anxiety. And so
Yeah.
people, it's like I like it because it's like shining a light on the boogeyman. And the
Yes.
reason why I say it like that is like sometimes when you don't know what you're experiencing,
Yeah.
it can feel very daunting and then you're confused and then you're trying
Yeah.
to figure it out versus like when you're like, okay, these are some signs of burnout, right? Or these are
Right.
some signs that, and it's like, oh, okay, yep, yep, yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
might
maybe
have
I'm
that.
experiencing this. Then you
Right.
feel a little bit more empowered to then now do
Hmm.
something about it.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
So
Yes.
can you describe how
Hmm.
fostering a sense of community can spark joy for yourself
Yes.
and like all the beautiful followers that you have?
Yes. That's an amazing question. You know, I growing up, I never felt a sense of community. So when I created this page, I was like, why not start that? Why not get what I never had as a child? And I feel one thing we can all relate to, we're all human, is our mind. We're all going through struggles. I mean, some of us don't go through the same things, but we can relate to some things. And life can be hard. It's full of ups and downs. And I just felt that with creating this community, we have people who are feeling safe, secure, things of that nature. And just being able to provide guidance, tips, a virtual hug, something, to somebody. I
Yes.
feel like we're all just going through it. And when you have a community, you're just all able to help each other. And I did it. I didn't do it for myself. I did it for everyone else. And I'm learning things along the way, along with everyone else. And um, it's really helped me with my purpose in life. And I'm grateful for the community that I'm creating, because everyone is just amazing.
Yes.
So
Okay, so
yeah.
you said purpose in life. Can you speak a
Hmm.
little to that? Like
Hmm.
what do you feel like your purpose is?
That's a good question. I feel like my purpose has always been to be a healer, you
Mm.
know? And I've had to find balance because being a healer or a giver or a peacemaker, that's a lot to take on.
It is.
It's a lot. And it used to cause me anxiety because in the friend group I was that therapy friend. With my family I'm that therapy person. Like it's a lot. It's really a lot. Everyone's coming to you about everything. But I felt as though, I can't run from it. And at one point I was trying to run from it. Like, I don't want to be this person, but
Mhm.
that's just who I am. I like to help people. I
Yeah.
just had to find a balance with people who I'm close with, and I just feel as though my purpose in life, I personally, I want to just normalize healing in us all. And,
Mm.
that's really just it. That's it.
Yeah. That's interesting when you were talking about like
Mhm.
as a healer, as a
Mhm.
giver,
Yeah.
that you have to, I think about like, people in therapy, coaches,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You have to figure out what those boundaries are so that
Mhm.
you also can stay
Yes.
in a place of joy and
Exactly.
happiness and grounded and, strong mental health and all of that, right? So
Yes.
as you are
Yes.
giving, it is identifying what are some things that you could do that also
Mhm.
protects your energy as you
Yes.
are sharing your amazing energy. People
Yes.
come to you because it's
Yes.
safe,
Yes.
you
Exactly.
know? And so then how
Exactly.
do you create that, for yourself? I
Mhm.
attended this training once. It was so
Uh-huh.
amazing. It was called
Uh-huh.
13 Moons.
Mhm.
And it was over 13 months. And we just learned like just a lot of different tools.
Oh,
And
that's
one of the
cool.
things that I took from that, I learned cord cutting. Have you heard of cord
Mm.
cutting?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, cord cutting is amazing. So
Uh-huh.
basically it's like when you're cutting energies that are attached to
Mm.
you.
Oh,
So
I
I
love that. That
facilitate that
sounds
session. It's
amazing.
it has helped so much. And so
Uh-huh.
the other piece of that is like wrapping yourself in protection. And so
Mm.
like after we would do the cord cutting, then it's
Mhm.
a visualization. But like I
Mhm.
remember visualizing myself wrapped in this gold blanket. It's funny that I'm wearing like this yellow
Yes.
dress today. And it was like this because with cord cutting, it's a lot of
Uh-huh.
energy. And so,
Mm.
you want to give it to the earth, but the
Yes.
energy is there, right?
Right. Right.
And so, because it's like, imagine like cutting like a wire cord or something, right?
Oh,
Like the
okay.
energy
Yeah.
is still can
It's
still be
still
in the
there.
cord, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you imagine yourself like wrapped in something
Yeah.
that's comforting, that's protecting.
Right.
And so
Right.
I would visually do that even when I was like maybe having intense conversations with people who I wanted
Mm.
to be there with, but I was like,
Yes.
how do I protect myself? Because if I
Yes.
didn't, my body would hurt afterwards.
Right. Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
I could give
Wow.
someone a massage and they had like a lot of like stuck energy. Like
Uh-huh.
I literally, it's like their back pain would transfer to mine.
Wow. Energy is real. People don't understand. It's so real. We take on so much energy,
Yes.
it's crazy.
My
It's
mom
so
always
crazy.
says, and I'm sure, you've heard this too, is like
Yeah.
energy is not created nor destroyed.
Right.
It is transferred or
Mhm.
transformed.
Yes, it
So
is.
even going back to like your tip of the
Mhm.
five good things
Yes.
is that's energy behind that.
Yes.
And
Yes, it
so,
is.
where are we moving that energy in our
Right.
lives, and how is that positively
Y
impacting us? Just like when we
Yes.
focus on the negative, how
Yeah.
is that energy moving through our lives, and how does it impact us? Think about people who I'm
Mhm.
sure you've heard stories of like
Mhm.
someone, the healthiest person right?
Right.
But mentally they were struggling, and then it
Mm.
showed up in their body.
Yes. Yes.
I've known people like that are like that, where it's like, oh my gosh, they're doing so well. They run, they eat good,
Right,
when they were
right.
struggling mentally,
Yes, and it shows up.
and it shows up.
Yes. It'll show up. It will show up. So that's why
Yes,
it's important to really, zone in, work on yourself. It is so important because you can have all the physical things, everything could be correct, but what matters is the inside? So,
absolutely, because it impacts the outside.
exactly. Exactly. So, yeah.
So I'm so excited because you shared about working on your master's. So
Mhm.
you have a passion for mental health, which I know, and you are
Yes.
pursuing a
Yeah.
master's in counseling.
Yes.
So have
Yes.
you found moments of joy throughout your own mental health
Mhm.
journey, perhaps in
Mhm.
overcoming challenges or
Mhm.
achieving milestones? And how
Yes.
might these experiences inspire others?
I love that question. I have found a lot of joyful moments. In my journey, I've coped with grief. And I feel like that's a really big accomplishment to cope through grief because grief just alters everything, like everything.
Say that
Um,
again.
I can't even, I
Yeah.
have no, I have no words. Um, and I was able to, while dealing with that grief and the depression, I was still able to graduate, undergrad with honors and stuff like that. And then that led me, thank you. And then that led me to getting into my dream grad school, which I'm very excited about. And even when I got in and I accepted, I'm like, okay, that's cool. But it's like, I'm still working on celebrating myself. Um,
Okay, let's stop.
uh-huh.
Woo!
Thank you.
We are gonna celebrate.
Thank
That is
you. Thank
amazing.
you.
Okay,
Thank
continue. I
you.
just want to stop and celebrate you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And you know, I was actually okay. So I actually created this page because I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. So I was just
Okay.
sick in bed and I had to leave the job I was at. So this idea just came to my head. So I think another thing I've celebrated so far is coping with Lyme disease and not having it be my whole identity, you know?
Mm,
And I know that Lyme disease is hard. I didn't even know what it was until I got it. I'm like, what is this?
yeah.
And I was really big on having it not become everything about me. And that's why I'm so grateful for this page because without the Lyme disease, and I'm grateful for Lyme disease, even though it's been hard, but without it, I wouldn't have this page like at all. Like I wouldn't
Mhm.
have thought about it. So, you know, um, being able to just look back, from where I am now, look back and really see how far I've come. I think that's just super important because I've come so far in the last 2 years. I tell people, even though I'm 23, I feel like I've lived so many lives in one. And, you know, experience is a teacher.
Mhm.
And I want people to learn that it's okay to go through all these experiences, embrace the ups and downs because
Yeah.
embrace the good and bad too, because where would we be without both, And
Absolutely.
I am really big on experience and, just learning from things, letting it teach you and guide you because I wouldn't be where I am without everything else, and it took me a while to understand that, you know?
No, that's true. I think of a quote Maya Angelou said, and that is,
Mhm.
"I wouldn't take anything for my journey."
Yes.
And
No.
of course, we don't want to go through
Yeah.
bad things, right?
Right.
Like it's not like we're like, sign
Yeah,
me up,
no. No.
like I want to experience this, right?
Right. Yeah.
But to your point is where do
Yeah.
we find gratitude in that because of the
Mhm.
lessons learned or
Yes.
what we were able to do with that. I think about create a
Right.
magical day. And I
Mhm.
started create a magical day because I was in a place where I was working at a job where the
Mm.
toxicity was high.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew that I wasn't going to leave right away. Like, yes, I could
Right.
find a new job, but my
Right.
mom told me something a long time ago, and that is
Mhm.
what you run from, you
Mhm.
run with.
I
Thinking of
like that.
energy, right? So
Yes.
if I'm running from toxicity and I haven't
Yes.
cleared any of the thoughts in my body, then my
Right.
next job, I could attract that as
Yeah.
well.
No,
I,
that's true. Yeah.
so I said to myself, what can I do? Because
Mhm.
Jania, this is about you. This isn't
Right.
anyone else around you changing, but how do you change? And so
Right.
that's when I started, like, I would draw.
Yes.
I can't draw really, but
Yeah.
stick figures.
Right.
Like of myself, like living, like having
Yeah.
a fun day, and I'd put a sunshine around it and maybe some
Yes.
music notes and some affirmations. I made
Yes.
sure I took like intentional tea breaks. I even started
Yes.
writing gratitude notes to my coworkers. I even
Ooh, I
wrote
love that.
one to someone who we didn't align very
Yeah.
well. It was a
Yeah.
real gratitude note. It wasn't
Mhm.
fluffy, and
Yeah.
there were things that I could be grateful for. To your point,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
No, you didn't want Lyme disease, but what
Right.
can you be grateful for that
Yes.
you learned from that? Or
Mhm.
whatever experiences you've attracted. So
Right.
that's where my focus was. So anyway, then one day I was like, well, if these little tips that I'm doing
Yeah.
benefit me, maybe
Right.
they could benefit other
Look at everybody
people,
else. Yes. That's how
and if I
it is.
and if I hadn't gone through that, then I wouldn't even
Exactly.
think about create a magical day where it is.
Yes.
What is the
Yes.
magic? So magic came from joy to the
Mhm.
umpteenth power, right?
Right.
Because we
I
have those
love
moments
it.
where it's like, woo,
Yes.
we're feeling great.
Yes.
And how do we
Yes.
create like more of those moments in our lives?
Exactly.
And you're right. Like
Yes.
if I wouldn't have gone through some of the
Yeah,
experiences,
no.
it wouldn't be what this is.
It wouldn't. And it's so crazy to think about because, we were able to create something so positive and amazing
Yes,
through those low moments, So where would we be
absolutely.
without those low moments?
Absolutely.
It's
So
it's
that's
crazy.
and that's where the gratitude comes from.
Yes. Yes.
And
Exactly.
I'll say this that
Mhm.
it's easier for people to find gratitude in that if they
Mhm.
can find how do you transfer that energy, right? How
Yes.
do you
Mhm.
reframe it? My therapist and I were
Yes.
talking about this, right? Like,
Yes.
how do you reframe some of
Yes.
whatever maybe like brings you anxiety or upsets you or whatever that quote negative feeling is, how do
Right.
you reframe that?
Yes, it's perspective. You know, perspective is
Absolutely.
everything. My mom always tells me, you know, change your perspective because it is everything, you know, changing your outlook on how you view things. And obviously, we go through bad times. We're human, you know, and that's
Right.
okay. But it's what you choose to get out of it. That's what
Mhm.
matters, you know? So,
Absolutely.
yes.
Okay, so let's talk just a little bit about mental
Hmm.
health, right? Because
Hmm.
I feel like first I want to start by
Hmm.
saying that I am so thankful that we are having more conversations about mental health,
I
mental
agree.
well-being, like all what
Yes.
mental wellness, all of
Yes.
that. And this has been something that's growing over the last few years. And it's so
Yes.
nice to see that because there are
Yes.
many people who want to be able to express, to have that dialogue. I mean,
Hmm.
and your page is a really good example of that
Yes.
and how it
Thank you.
allows people to read tips or feel like they're not alone, right?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
mental health can be a complex topic, and
Hmm.
joy can
Mm.
sometimes feel elusive,
Yes,
you
it
know?
can. Yes.
So, can you share your personal definition of joy and how you
Hmm.
cultivate
Yes.
it in your own life, even
Yes.
amidst challenges? Because that's the part that I want you to focus on is there's
Yes.
still challenges, and you
Yes.
said some, right? And then
Yeah.
there's joy.
Yeah.
Overall, like, how does that work for you, especially as it
Hmm.
relates to mental health?
Yes. Yes. So joy to me, and I feel like I'm really starting to learn what joy is because, you know, in the beginning I said I didn't really know what it was, and I'm still learning. But to me, joy is me being content with, you know, like I said, who I am and my life. So, how I cultivate that is every morning I wake up and listen to morning gratitude affirmations every morning. If I don't do it, I just feel a little wonky that day. But being grateful for everything, I'm always, you know, when I get in my car, I'm like, thank you. I'm so glad I have a car because I think we all take advantage of just the simplest things. But lately, I've just been very, you know, thankful for everything around me, the family, the roof over my head, everything. And um, with being, you know, grateful, I feel as though I've had more of a positive outlook on life. You know, I'm not dwelling on the negatives. I'm also taking care of myself more, showing myself more self love because when I show myself more self love, I'm more joyful, you
Yeah.
know? So, also that and investing in myself, you know, creating space for me to have my hobbies that I love doing. I think, you
Awesome.
know, being passionate about something also lends itself to joy. So all of these things are what joy is to me, you know, being grateful, practicing gratitude, showing myself love, taking care of myself, and doing the things that I love to do.
I love that. And
Thank
how do
you.
you feel like taking all of that, how does
Mhm.
that impact your mental health? And what would you say
Yeah.
for someone maybe struggling in that
Yeah.
area?
Um, I think it's impacted my mental health tremendously. You know, I'm in therapy, and even she's like, you know, I just don't understand how you've transformed in such a short amount of time. Yeah, thank you. And it's
Congratulations.
even weird, you know, I've been lessening my appointment. It's even weird not going because I'm like, should I still go to therapy? But even she's like, you're kind of graduating right now, which is
I
pretty
love
cool.
it.
Which is cool, but it's like I feel like I should still be in there, you know. But um I feel as though I'm sorry, what was your question
Oh, no, no,
again?
no, it's okay. No, no, I was
What?
just wondering, like, how, like, all the things that you shared impact your mental health, which you did
Yes.
share, and then what
Yeah.
would you say to someone maybe who's struggling a little bit?
Mhm.
Because for sometimes people will say, "Well, I'm doing this, and it's just not working."
Yes.
So what
Yes.
would you say to someone who is
Yes.
still, because 'cause we're all gonna have struggles, right? And
Right,
that's what people
right.
do have to understand. Every day my favorite thing to say is, "Every day may not be filled with joy, but we can
Right.
create joyful moments." So I focus on
Exactly.
moments. But what would
Mhm.
you say to someone maybe who's struggling on the mental health side, who's
Yeah.
trying all these things and it's just
Yeah.
not working?
Um I think the biggest thing for me was changing my perspective on things. And that's what, you know, practicing the gratitude every morning has helped me to do because I used to be so affected by the things that didn't go well. I never
Mm,
focused on, wait, but what went well, you know? And if those things aren't working for someone out there, I really do advise people, because there's only so much you can do by yourself. I'm a big
Yeah.
advocate for seeking mental health resources, therapy, things of that nature, coaching, whatever. If you feel as though, the things that you're doing aren't working, I definitely advise people to just seek a third outlet,
Yeah.
and have a different outlook on things that are going on in your life, because I wouldn't be where I am also without therapy. I am a big advocate for therapy. I love
Me too.
therapy. Like, I don't know where I would be without it, and it's just, I feel like everyone needs it. Whether your life is going good or, you're struggling, I feel like everyone needs therapy. So definitely try to seek out support. And I feel like a lot of us are afraid to ask for help, but asking for help is a sign of strength. It's okay to ask
Mhm.
for help. We can't always do everything on our own. So I think being able to definitely ask for help would definitely, lend itself to really dealing with the struggles in an individual's life.
Absolutely. Thank you. Those are some really good tips.
Thank you.
I just wanted to kind of recap that
Mhm.
is one is, the routines, right? Trying to
Yes.
find some things
Hmm.
that can help and try different things, right?
Yes.
It's just being consistent with things that can fill your cup. I'll say that's
Yes.
one thing. And then
Yes.
two is getting outside of your own head.
Yes.
Because I do know some people who read a lot of books, who listen to
Hmm.
podcasts, who pull
Yeah.
cards like I do, and are
Hmm.
still having a lot of
Yeah.
challenges.
Hmm.
And so what can you do to get outside of your head? And to your
Right.
point of seeking help, seeking a third
Yeah.
party, what like you
Yes.
said, whether it's a therapist, and I love therapists,
Yeah.
seeking a coach, someone that can
Yes.
help you to process.
Right. Exactly.
And I
Exactly.
want to add this. So I was
Hmm.
listening to have you ever heard of Headway? An
No.
app. It's a mental health app,
Uh
and it's
huh.
incorporated in a lot of like corporations.
Uh
And
huh.
so I was listening to a talk yesterday, and
Uh
so
huh.
one of the questions was about a therapist,
Uh huh.
and they were saying that when you are getting a new therapist, look
Hmm.
at it as if you were dating someone for if you're dating.
Hmm.
Because some people, when they
Mm.
sign up for a therapist, they're like, "Oh, this therapist was terrible. I'm never going back."
Right. Right.
Right?
Right. Right.
So, but a person like just like if you go on a date, it may not be
Yes.
that great, right? Don't
Yeah.
maybe don't go on that date again,
Yeah.
but maybe go on a different one,
Right.
Or if it
Yeah.
was like, you know what? Maybe the person was, just a little, they were just a little too quiet. Maybe I can get them
Right.
talking a little bit more. But it was
Yes.
like looking at it as dating. So I just want to like add that
Yes.
plug in there because I do know that sometimes people have a challenge
Yes.
finding the right people or
Yeah.
person to talk to is
Yeah.
just be open-minded about it
Yes.
where
Hmm.
you find someone that you connect with that asks you
Hmm.
the questions that you need, to have asked, can
Yeah.
listen really well, and
Yeah.
where you feel safe, and just keep trying that until you find that.
Exactly. And it's okay if, because not everyone is for us. And I think
Right.
definitely what lends itself to finding a great therapist is maybe finding someone from the same background as you, because they are able to relate, to your
Hmm.
struggles a little more than someone who's not. So yeah.
No, that's a good tip. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this has been so great. All right.
Thank
So
you.
we're going to end this podcast with
Okay.
rapid fire questions, right? So this
Okay.
is something
Okay.
that I ask every guest who comes on,
Hmm.
and whatever comes to mind, that's
Yeah.
what I want you to share. Okay.
Okay.
Of course, it's
Okay.
all around joy. Uh,
Okay.
so one, what parts of your morning routine bring you joy?
My morning gratitude affirmations.
Okay. How do you wrap up your evening to ensure you are going to be feeling joyful?
I have a cup of tea. I love tea. I love
Okay.
tea.
Do you have a favorite kind?
Lately I've been loving chamomile lavender.
Ooh, that
So good. So
that
good.
is a good one.
Yes.
Okay. How do you stay committed to joy?
How do I stay committed to joy? I would say by recreating those same experiences I felt previously,
Mhm.
being able to seek what brings me joy. So that can be my hobbies, some self care, things of that nature.
Okay.
Yes.
And then last question, because we have
Mhm.
talked about celebrating wins, but
Mhm.
how do you celebrate your wins, big and small?
How do I celebrate my wins? I buy myself something nice.
Nice. Okay. What was
Yeah.
the last nice thing that you bought for yourself?
What was the last nice thing? I bought myself, what was it? It was this really cute jacket from Free People.
Oh, I like
It's,
free people.
yeah, it's really cute. So that's the last thing I bought. Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. I love
Yes.
that. Thank you for participating in our rapid fire
Thank
questions.
you. Thank
So
you.
to end this, Sage, can you tell people like where they can connect with you and
Mhm.
if you have anything going on?
Yes, so you can connect with me, Sage the Minds, on Instagram. Also, I post videos on YouTube and TikTok as well, so it's just Sage the Minds across the board. Um, and I'm also, right now, I have my own advice series where I drop my full videos on YouTube. So if you need advice on anything self love, breakups, friendships, things of that nature, go to my link in my Instagram bio and drop your dilemmas, and I'll try to answer it in my next episode. So, yeah.
And this has been such a wonderful
Yes.
conversation. I
Yes.
have really enjoyed just talking to you about your journey and the tips that you have to share, and just like
Yes.
how you make joy a priority in your life. So, thank you so much for being available, for being vulnerable, and for sharing. And I look forward to staying connected on Sage the Minds.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you for inviting me on here and being able to share my experiences and my thoughts. I love it so much. So, thank you.
Absolutely. All right. We'll chat soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, hey, hey. What a wonderful interview. Sage is just such a beautiful spirit. I hope that some things that were said today truly impact you and try out the tips. So remember 5 good things. So think about 5 good things, and you could do that throughout your day. And then also your list, like your win list. And remember to celebrate yourself, the small, the large, the in between. Celebrate good times. Come on. Just celebrate. I am sending you so much love, so much joy. And remember that every day may not be filled with joy, but you could create joyful moments every day. Joy is your birthright, my friend. I am so excited for you on this journey. I'm so proud of you, and you got this. Let's stay connected. Bye. I'm over here doing a virtual dance because you just finished another episode of the Create a Magical Day podcast. Hit subscribe so you never miss a show and share with a friend who could use a boost of joy. Visit createamagicalday.com for show notes, joy resources, and to join our email list for extra inspiration. If you're looking to connect with more joy creators like you, join my exclusive Joy Creators Facebook group. See you next week. Remember, every day may not be filled with joy, but you can create joyful moments every day. Go out there and make it a magical one.